Hey CC families, it's been a while since I've uploaded a video and I wanted to post my week 4 lesson plans. We meet on Mondays, so we were off Labor Day. We met week 3. It was honestly a big learning week for me, so I wanted to take what I learned into my week 4 video. We had some fun with it though. We did a tug of war for Greek gods, Roman gods. We had a fun thing for science. But honestly, the biggest problem was time. And I'm learning as a tutor, there are things that I want to do, but they're better suited for home with the parent, where the parent has more time to do those one-on-one activities, especially with math, trying to direct the child to the correct numbers. Took up a lot of time in week 3. This week I focused more on just learning the song. That provided a good base for the parent to scaffold off of. And then for the ones that don't have that number literacy yet, they don't know what numbers correspond to the numbers that we're singing, that's something the parent can take them to that next level with. It's just not something in class that we have the time to do. And I don't want to have children just swatting things or hitting things without attending to what is being said, if that makes sense. I'd rather provide a good foundation where they know the song and the parents can bring it to that next level. Obviously, with the older kids that already have that number sense, they can do those things, but I'm working with 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds that are still, they are learning that number literacy. The other huge thing was keeping track of time. Previously, I've had each of my students go through the memory work, which is fine because I've had 7 students, but the problem is that I would need to prompt them and have them repeat me. So really I wasn't doing it 7 times, I was doing it 14 times, because when I say it, it counts as once. When the child says it, it counts as twice. So what I learned was every child might not be able to go for each subject, especially if I'm doing it that way. So I put popsicle sticks into a cup that we could draw, and kids could take turn. We draw until the sticks were empty, and then I was keeping track of how many times we were doing things with this little guy right here. It's got 7 little poppers on it, and if I did it with a child and had them respond, I would click 2. If it was just me doing it, I'd click 1. So it helped me keep track of time better too. So going into timeline, I do timeline motions really slowly. What I did this week was I drew our timeline actions onto these little mats that I got at Target dollar spot for like $3. What I'm doing next week though, I'm putting them on a 6x4 index card, and I have them laminated with these little pouches that I got. I think this is going to work better because I have more space to work with here. But I have the actions drawn out so they have a visual, the parents have a visual as we're working through our timeline songs. And what we did was I have this little spinner and I just drew different things since I have a lot of non-readers in my class. So we've got robot voice, we've got volcano where it starts soft, gets big, we've got a mouse, which is squeaky voice, a soldier, an opera singer, and a turtle. So that's what we did for silly voices, and they really enjoyed that. For English, we went through the preposition motions. We did it slowly. We did it 7 times, and honestly, we didn't do anything special with that. On my board, I had the motions drawn out with stick figures, which again, I want to help the parents and the kids. And after that, I committed to no unnecessary motions. And I know motions are a great thing, but that's something else that week 3 taught me, is that I need to scale back the motions because I think, and scale back the songs, honestly, because not all kids want to sing every single subject. Not every single kid wants to do motions for every single subject. And that's a lot to put on parents too, to send them home and have, you know, 7 different motions for 7 different subjects. So my commitment was to make motions as unnecessary as possible, since we already have timeline and prepositions. So going into Latin the previous week, I had motions for like we did a claw, and like east, we did like geese. So this week I wanted to steer clear of that. And what we did was idea that I found on the tutor page. They called it Sparkle. We changed it to Hullabaloo, where each kid would say, like nominative singular, they would say the memory work, pop up and then sit back down. The next person would do genitive singular, pop up, sit back down. Dative singular, pop up, sit back down. When we got to the end of the song, the next kid would pop up, say hullabaloo, and the next kid was out. And we went around a couple times and did that. So that was pretty straightforward and kept things moving, which is another thing that I'm trying to do. A lot of things that I was doing just required more like kind of guiding kids individually, and then I'd have a group of kids over here who weren't really paying attention. So my goal this week was really to keep things as group focused as possible, and if it was one kid doing something that was really quick, like the popping, and then back down, or else I lost the rest of the group. So that's kind of the learning curve that I'm on right now. So we went through timeline, English, Latin. For history and science, we did the same thing. And this is very stick in the sand, I'm not gonna lie, but it worked. So again, I want to stay away from hand motions as much as possible. So what I decided to do was like a human jack-in-the-box. So I stood this box up. It's an 18 by 24 from Menards. I stood it up on its hinges. On the back, I cut it out so the child could hide behind it. And then we sang our 7 Wonders of the Ancient World song. At the end, the child popped out of the box like a jack-in-the-box. And honestly, this worked out fantastic, better than I even thought it would. Because again, like I said, when I have one kid doing something and the other kids, you know, not in the box, I was worried, am I going to lose them? But they were really into it. They wanted to sing the song and watch the child pop out. So they were really into it. We did this for history and science so everyone could get a turn. Because like I said, we don't have, like if I'm singing the song and teaching them how to do it, we don't have time for everybody to go through one time. So we did our 7 Wonders of the Ancient World song. And then I taught them a chant last week for science. It was, what are some parts of an animal cell? Cell membrane, nucleus, vacuole, cytoplasm, Golgi bodies, mitochondria. So this week we just added cell wall and chloroplast to that. And I could tell they were practicing at home because they really got that song down pretty well. Or not song, but chant. Again, if I can make it a chant and not a song, we have so many songs already. I want to give the kids that are not into singing a little break. So I'm going to try and keep science chant focused as possible, because you figure right now we've got timeline, we've got prepositions, which I'm not singing for that reason. I'm just doing the chants with the actions. We've got Latin, which is a song. We've got history, which are songs. So science, and then you've got math, which is skip counting, more songs. And then geography, we have a little geography song for weeks 1 through 12. So almost everything's a song. So I'm trying to keep science very chant focused to give the kids a little bit of break from songs. I love songs. I would make everything a song if I could, but I also realize not all kids are into that. So we did that for history and science. For math, we did our skip counting songs. I didn't do anything with visual numbers this week other than what was on my board. We just sang the song. Like I said, I think giving them a solid foundation of getting the song down right will help scaffold their learning for the 4-year-olds that don't have that number literacy yet, their parents can work with them at home with recognizing their numbers. But I'd rather lay a solid foundation and have them know the song really well than, you know, not really having them attend to the numbers and they're just swatting over here. And I just don't want to instill bad habits with attending. Like, I feel like attending is very important. So if they're attending to the words in the song, if that's all they can do right now, then I want to do that well, rather than overwhelm them with trying to learn a new song and swat numbers or hit number, if that makes sense. So for the song, we just did mathercise, and I saw this on the tutor board too. The kids started out low in a squat position, and as we sang the song, we went up and up and up. And at the very end, we did a blast off. So we did that for 7s. They really enjoyed that. For 8s, we just did all kinds of mathercise. We did froggy hops, choo-choo train, spinning. We just did all kinds of things for our 8s. And then for geography, it was honestly very simple this week because we only had 4 locations. So I had them, I always color code them on their maps, and I just did the show me, tell me method. We kept it pretty simple. And I think all in all, I think I went about 10 minutes over this week, if I remember correctly, which is doable if you figure you take 5 from science, 5 from art, and 5 from presentation. But just getting all that new grammar can be really hard. So still a work in progress, but not as bad as week 3. Also week 3, a real struggle was art. So we did inside the lines, the Mayan glyphs. Did anybody else do this with the 4-year-olds? Because mine were completely done with it after like 10 minutes. So we did this where I was only showing them a part, and then we were going through the oils together. And I've only got 1 room parent in my room because I've got 7 kids, 4 of which are tutors' kids, including my own. We've got 3 4-year-olds that are new 4-year-olds, just turned 4 this summer. And then we've got some 5 and 6-year-olds. But this was even honestly a little hard for some of the 5 and 6-year-olds. I had 1 6-year-old that was really into it, but most of them by the end I could tell were frustrated. So we are doing abstract art this week, so I kept it very simple. We just did oils, and I demonstrated on my little easel, and I said draw 2 straight lines intersecting, draw a circle through the line, and we talked about how the circles don't need to be circle shaped. They can be oval or they can be squiggly, as long as it is a round shape that's not filled in. Then we put some dots in, and then we put some angled lines in, and some curved lines in intersecting areas, so it would create little quadrants. And then as they were coloring in their quadrants, I read The Noisy Paint Box, which I posted about this on the tutor page, and somebody said you should really be focusing on the techniques, not reading books, which I understand that. We did work on the techniques. I read this as they were coloring in their drawing, so I don't discredit that, but I also know my 4-year-olds towards the end, they just wanted to be done with art, so I think this gave them a little break that they could just relax and enjoy. And it had to do with the one of the founders of abstract art, and we got to also, at the end of this book, we looked at, they have pictures of abstract art, and I actually did that before we did our abstract art. I asked them like what they saw, and we talked about how abstract art doesn't really look like anything, and then I had them identify oils within these abstract art paintings. So we did focus on technique, but towards the end, like, I just need to help my 4-year-olds and my room parent out so she's not like overwhelmed either. So that's what we did for art. For review, we did a couple of things. We sang our timeline. We sang our preposition song just straight through. For math, we did, and I know these are really hard to get right now, if anybody's seen these. They're like the Fat Brain Toy Ladybug, where they have a little stick and the ladybug spins around and the kids jump over the little stick as it's spinning. So we did that for the skip counting song. Each person got to go do it once. And then for the rest of the subjects, I had a parachute and all the kids shook the parachute and we pretended like that was the ocean, and I had little fish. Let me see if I have them here. I had little fish and they had the subject, so they would go swimming for the fish, and I had like science week 1 on it. After they go fishing, we would chant the science work, and they all really seemed to enjoy that. So that was our week 4, and like I said, it went a lot better than our week 3. And the kids seemed to have a good time with it. I think it helped me realize to scale things back a little bit and realize that some things are better tackled at home. I think for the parents that want hand motions, I'm going to be linking some good ones that I actually wanted to do, but decided not to do in my weekly message that I send out to parents. I'm going to be doing that. So if they want to do the motions or they find them helpful, there's that resource available to them. But I don't want to send the children home with all these different hand motions and overwhelm the parents. I think as a tutor, what I want to do is give the parents some variety to choose from, and hopefully they're things that can translate pretty easily to home, is my hope. So I appreciate you sticking around and watching this video. Let me know if you have any questions or if you found it helpful, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye!